Hi Kansas HOSA, welcome to your Teamwork Events Roundtable session. First, my name is Joy Lee. I'm your Kansas HOSA president. Throughout this presentation, if you come up with any questions or if you have questions at the end, you can find me on Instagram or you can shoot me an email, or if you're watching this during the fall conference, you can just hop on to HOSA headquarters and talk to us directly. Okay, so with teamwork events and with any event that you're trying to do at the Spring Leadership Conference, something really important to note is you have to look at the HOSA guidelines. I've attached a link to this presentation on the guidelines that you can find for teamwork events, but you can find these guidelines on the Kansas HOSA website or even HOSA International's website. Alright, throughout this presentation, something to note is that this is tallow. Throughout the presentation, if you see this tallow logo on the bottom right corner of your screen, that means that this event, whatever event that we're on, requires an upload to tallow as well as your whatever you're preparing for the Spring Leadership Conference. So HOSA members use Tallow to upload their projects, and you can even apply for HOSA scholarships and other opportunities through Tallow. So it's really good to start getting acquainted with it now in the fall so that you won't have any issues in the spring. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Kansas HOSA offers 9 different teamwork events. We have forensic science, creative problem solving, health career display, health education, public service announcement, HOSAble, medical innovation, community awareness, and biomedical debate. So starting off with forensic science, this is an event in where you get to investigate a crime scene and come to a conclusion about the cause of death. Use critical thinking, knowledge, and creativity. You have 2 members on each team, and there is a test, an initial test that you take before you actually compete at the spring conference. A lot of the events under this category do have tests, and the tests are just as important as whatever you do in person at the conference. And this is because if you go and compete, and let's say that your team does really, really well at the conference, if you hadn't passed the initial test, you can't compete with it at the International Leadership Conference. So yes, you need to prepare for whatever in-person activity you're doing at the spring conference, but studying for the test is just as important. Some related careers that would be really good to go into forensic science as a competitive event are forensics pathologist and a criminal investigator. If this is something you're interested in, this event is something that you can educate yourself on for future health careers. And with the timeline, in October, you need to find a teammate to get started. In November through February, you should study for first the test and the actual event that you're doing at SLC. And then in March, you just go through practice situation and get yourself acquainted for what the competition is actually going to look like. Next, we've got the Creative Problem Solving event, and this provides members with the opportunity to analyze the problem solving process and to work as a team to apply their problem solving skills. You have 3 to 4 students in each team, just like what we're doing at the Fall Leadership Conference. There is a test to this along with the forensic science event, and all careers are applicable to this one, mostly just because creative problem solving is an event in which you are going to use skills that you're going to use in the medical field anyway, whichever branch that you are planning on going into. And so it's just a really fun, light event that you can compete in if you're not looking to too much commitment. All right, and then next, our event is Health Career Display. The description of this is members are to research a career of interest and create a display board about that career. So if you're really interested in being artistic and doing a lot of that creative stuff with, pictures or design elements, this is the event for you. There are 2 people per team, so you would just be working with a partner. The timeline for this is a little bit more extensive. In October and November, you would find your teammates, choose a career, and start researching. In December and January is when all the design elements come in. You finalize your research, you start designing your display board, and then in February and March, you finalize your board, and then you practice your speeches. Something really cool about the Health Career Display is that it's all pre-prep before the State Leadership Conference, and so you don't have a lot of pressure the day of, except for just kind of displaying your board and practicing your speech. You can put as much time as you want to into Health Career Display. You've got a lot of time to do this. And with careers, any careers are applicable to this one as well. You can choose any type of career that you want to display at the State Leadership Conference, and it's a great way to kind of research about different careers that you're thinking about. So if you're not sure if you want to go into pediatrics, or if you're not sure if you want to go into like another field, this is a great way to research that and see if that's an option for you. The next event we have is health education. This is where you essentially get to be a teacher. You create a lesson plan about your choice topic, provide instruction to a group of students, evaluate learning results, and create a portfolio in speech. There's no test required for this one, so there's no previous studying that you need to do. There's 2 to 4 students on a team. It's good for all careers, and it's a good opportunity for public speaking and a way to show your portfolio. So if you're really interested in things like debate and public speaking or speech classes at your school, this is a really good event to go into to showcase that talent. For the timeline, in October and November, you find your teammates and you choose a topic. In December and January, you finalize these lesson plans, gather materials. In February, you give the lesson a couple times, create a portfolio, and then in March, you practice your presentation and then you finalize your portfolio. Next, we have the public service announcement. This is where you create a 30-second video following the theme and broadcast it across your community. This 30-second video is over the Shatter Your Expectations theme that we have this year. There are 3 to 6 team members, and then for your timeline, in October and November, you write your script. December and January, you film and edit your video. In February and March, broadcast a video and write a speech. A lot of these events, again, there's not a lot of pressure. At the State Leadership Conference, you can prep how much you want to before that date actually comes, and so it's really under your jurisdiction on how much time you want to spend on this. And with the timelines that I've written up here, these are just guidelines to what you should expect in each month, but obviously once you start working on a project, you should probably plan out and schedule what exactly you're going to do each week and whatnot. Next, you have your HOSA, and in HOSA, you can expect questions over health, HOSA, and parliamentary procedure. These question types fall under incomplete questions, definition-related questions, and multi-answer questions. HOSA is a lot of studying. All of this material that the questions are over are found on the HOSA website, the international website, and Kansas HOSA website as well. And I'll specifically talk about a resource that you can use for this toward the end of the presentation. And then in March, you want to start your practice rounds with your team. There are 4 members on each team, and there is a test required for this one. And so when you're studying for the different questions that you're going to answer at the actual State Leadership Conference, you should also be studying for that initial test. And then with medical innovation, this event is where you get to be the inventor. If you're looking for an event in which you can actually make a difference, not just learn about a career, this is the way to go. Medical innovation provides HOSA members with the opportunity to gain knowledge and skills required to impact the future of health. There's 2 rounds for this. The teams consist of 2 to 4 people, and in the first round, you evaluate and create medical innovation, whatever that may be for you, and then in round 2 you give an oral presentation of that innovation. So if you're looking to actually try to make a difference or kind of look at a real world scenario when it comes to these events, medical innovation would be a great competitive event. Next, we have community awareness. This one takes a lot of work and a lot of preparation before the State Leadership Conference. You design and raise awareness of a health-related issue. This can be a local, state, or national issue. It's up to you. You select a topic that will help your community, create activities, and document them. Put your findings in a portfolio and present the portfolio to a panel of judges actually at the State Leadership Conference. And a couple more details on the community awareness event. You have 2 to 4 people on each team. Careers that are good for this are public health or education, and then you would also be required to have a portfolio and be able to do some public speaking. The timeline for this is in October and November, you find your teammates and a topic and you start to research. In December and January, you finalize your research plan and complete all community activities. In February and March, you create your portfolio, write speech, and practice presentation. Community awareness is a really good example of an event in which you really need to dive deep into these guidelines. There's a lot of different elements that come into this event, and so the guidelines are going to be your best friend if you decide to take this event and compete in it in the spring. It's really cool. I've seen a couple of, personally from my school, I've seen a couple of students take on this event and they come out with some really, really great information. So Next, we have Biomedical Debate. This is our last event. This is actually the event that I personally have competed in for the past 3 years. In this event, you get to debate with a team to explore medical issues, address the topic with research, evaluation, discussion, critical thinking, and verbal expression, learn important skills for success as a future health professional. These teams consist of 3 to 4 members. It's good for public health specialists if you're trying to become a lawyer or a politician and healthcare administrator. I personally got into Biomedical Debate because I'm a part of the debate team at my school. I really fell in love with it. Just like any other debate year, you would get like a resolution or a topic that you talk about, and then you would find evidence, find your team, file that evidence, finalize all of that, and then you present it and debate with another team. So for this timeline, it's a bit more extensive than the other ones. In October and November, you need to make sure who's going to be on your team. You look for your guidelines and start studying for the test. So Biomedical Debate also has an initial test that you need to pass in order to compete at the International Leadership Conference. So keep that in mind. And then in December and January, you find and finalize evidence and continue studying for that test. And then in February and March, you review the test and hold debate practice rounds. I personally really liked this process, especially doing those debate practice rounds. It gives you a lot of insight on the topic that you're debating about, and you just learn a whole ton about whatever that topic is that year. And that's all. If you have any other questions, like I said, you can reach out to my email, reach out to me on Instagram, or hop on to HOSA headquarters if this is still during the fall conference. And I hope this helped. Thank you, and I will hopefully see you at the Spring Leadership Conference competing in these events.